My name is Claire Whitner. I am the Director of Curatorial Affairs at the Worcester Art Museum and the James A. Walu Curator of European Art. Paula Modersohn-Becker is a fascinating figure in the history of modern art in Germany. Generally, when we think of German modern art movements, we think of Expressionism, like the Künstlergruppe Brücke, based originally in Dresden in 1905 and then moved to Berlin, or Der Blaue Reiter in Munich, started in 1911. But this painting, which was created in July of 1901, predates all of that. And Paula Modersohn-Becker was interestingly not associated with one of those groups, but rather living in an artist colony in Worpswede, a rural community outside of Bremen. So she ends up moving to Worpswede from Berlin, which was heavily industrialized, and Worpswede offered this landscape that was still relatively unspoiled. But then she takes this transformative trip to Paris in 1899 with her friend Claire Whitner, who was a sculptor, also living in Worpswede. And the two women go to study at the Académie Colarossi. But while they're there, they also visit galleries and museums, and importantly, encounter work by Van Gogh, Gauguin, and Cézanne. And I think it's really no accident that when we look at this painting and we see Modersohn-Becker trying to apply what she had absorbed in Paris on her return to Worpswede, that she takes on the subject of the bathers. I think it's very likely that she would have seen one of Cézanne's bathers, at least one of his chromolithographs, when she was visiting the gallery of Ambroise Vollard in Paris. You know, that this is not classical bathers. She's not creating an idealized human form or even a naturalistic human form. She's drawing on her models from the local community, and she's exaggerating their figures, these emaciated boys with distended stomachs, most likely from malnutrition. And she's giving us this sort of grotesque image almost. And she's looking to a palette that is sort of vibrant and almost fauvist in that glowing green. She looks the landscape to create interesting elements in her composition. It's not naturalistic, but instead that extreme diagonal of the canal really leads us into the painting. She also is working in sort of new artist materials. This is called Würmsche Tempera, and it was created by Richard Worm, who was trying to create materials that would dry faster and allow artists to kind of play with the textures of the paint in ways that they just couldn't quite achieve with oil paint. So you see someone who has created this whole sort of new approach to painting within a community that was still largely working naturalistically and with the landscape. And for that, I find her completely fascinating. And what's, I think, sort of sad about Paula Modersohn-Becker is that, you know, we never really get to see what develops with her art. She dies tragically at age 31, just a few weeks after giving birth to her first child. Also, I feel that her work is sort of underrepresented in the United States, and it would be nice to have this figure kind of revived in our collection. So I do hope the next time you visit the Worcester Art Museum that you will come to Gallery 211 to see three boys bathing by Canal. And we look forward to seeing you when we reopen.